everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another cooking video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys another kind of little quick recipe that you can make kind of whenever you want to. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make skewers or kebabs, if you will. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make beef kebabs. That's just the meat that I was able to pick up from the grocery store a little while ago. But pretty much the methods in this video are going to translate whether you're making beef kebabs, chicken kebabs, lamb kebabs, whatever kind of meat kebabs you want to make, or if you just want to make veg kebabs, obviously you just use the same methods, just use vegetables, not meat. Yeah, so without me rambling on too long, I'm going to move the camera down so you can see kind of what I have set up in front of me here. Again, it's super simple to do. So yeah, let me point the camera down and we'll get right into the video. Alright everyone, so as you can see, as I mentioned, pretty easy setup to make the skewers. All I have in front of me is my meat. Again, in this case, it just happens to be some beef. I have my skewers. I have some veg to add on to the skewers. And I just have here a plate just to put the finished product on. So one pro tip that I will give you guys, you can see here I have my wooden skewers. Now, you can use wooden skewers or metal skewers. I prefer to use the wooden ones. One thing, these are a little bit bigger than I'm probably actually going to need and that you might need when you make them at home. These are just all I had laying around. But, again, you want to get your skewers. Again, I prefer to use the wooden ones. And you might notice, maybe not, but these ones are a little bit wet. I've had them sitting in this container soaking. Now, there's two main reasons why I like to soak the skewers. A is that sometimes at the top, or even along the wooden skewer, being the fact that it is wood, sometimes a little piece can splinter off or break off, and if you wet it, that kind of lessens the chance of that happening, and either you get a little loose piece of wood actually in your product, or maybe you splinter and poke yourself while you're actually making the skewers. And B, again, with it being wood, as we know, wood burns fairly easily. So especially if you're going to be putting these on the barbecue to cook, as I will be later, just having the wood a little bit with some more extra moisture in there, a little bit wet, keeps the wood from burning up as quickly. Now, you're probably also wondering, why do I have veg here? Well, skewers come in basically three different ways. Either you can skewer them just the meat, or just with some vegetables, or for a little bit of extra, it looks a little bit nicer and just some extra kind of filler on there, you can skewer the meat with some veg. Now, I just have some chopped up red onions and some kind of red pepper here. What you use on there is up to you. The one thing I will say though, if you're gonna put veg for a skewer, you want to use something that's a little bit more hardy that can actually hold up to cooking. So you want to use peppers, onions, maybe some zucchini, some mushrooms, and you always want to have them cut fairly thick so that, again, they don't just burn up on the grill or even in the oven. So in order to start the process, I have everything already cut up, ready to go. I have been marinating the beef for a couple of days, so typically you always want to do that before you put it onto the skewers. For one, it just helps, marinating off the skewer, everything kind of soaks into the meat properly, and then you don't lose anything while it's on the skewers. And really, what you marinate your meat in is up to you. I just did mine kind of a simple little marinade, so it's olive oil, red wine vinegar, and just kind of a different mixture of herbs. But again, marinate your meat to whatever kind of flavor or whatever your preferences are. So once you have everything that you want to put on your skewers laid out in front of you, then at that point, all there's really left to do is go ahead and start skewering. So what I like to do, especially since I'm going to be putting, veg and meat together, if you're going to be doing just all meat, figure out how many pieces you have, how many skewers you have, and go from there. Maybe, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, whatever per skewer. Go ahead and do that. So since I have the veg here as well, I'm going to just alternate between doing some sections of meat and veg. So the easiest way to start off is just get your skewer, get a piece of meat, gently stab it through, like so, and then just follow up. Maybe get a piece of pepper, right? A little piece of onion, another piece of meat, And as long as you have, whenever you determine that pattern, just keep going with that pattern until your skewer fills up. Just follow the pattern. So in this case, I'm going meat, veg, all the way to the top. So again, piece of meat, piece of pepper, piece of onion. Right, piece of meat. And the one thing to remember, guys, is whatever pattern you start doing, make sure you follow that pattern. So, if that means you need to set up your stuff in front of you so that you don't forget, go ahead. But yeah, basically remember, whatever you start with, continue that pattern until you're happy with the way that the skewer looks. And once you're done, you're going to look something like this. Now, again, as I mentioned, I have more of the skewer than I need. But what you also want to remember is that, especially if you're going to be cooking these on a barbecue, you always want to leave a little section of skewer or a stick kind of exposed at the end, so that when you're on the grill, you have something to maybe grab onto and help flip around. So just for example, for this case, you can see I have 4 pieces of meat with 3 sections of the veg kind of stuck in between. And now I'm just going to go and basically do that until all my meat and veg is used up. Alright guys, so as you can see, this is what the finished product looks like. So you can see here, as I mentioned, always alternate between having your meat and your veg or whatever you have on your skewer. And one thing that I don't think I mentioned before was that obviously, if you have even just meat, you want to make everything the same size. But especially when you're doing something like this with the meat and the veg all in one, you do want to make sure that everything is the same size, so that way it cooks the most evenly. Now, I'm not saying go out and measure and make sure every piece is exactly 1 inch by whatever, but just look at it roughly, make sure everything is about the same size. That way you're going to ensure that everything cooks evenly. And once again, I am going to show you guys quickly how to cook these. Again, it's going to be a little bit for me, but for you guys, it's only going to be a couple of seconds until we hop over to the barbecue and I'll show you actually how to grill these and then what they look like once they're all done. Okay, so we've reached the point in the video where I'm going to show you how to actually cook the skewers now. And you're probably wondering why I'm outside in a toque and jacket to barbecue in May. Well, I live in Canada and the weather doesn't seem to want to warm up and cooperate right now. So there you go. Anybody who's watching in warm climates, I'm kind of jealous. But anyway, with that being said, yeah, my barbecue here is currently heating up. Unfortunately, I noticed that my temperature gauge is broken. I realized that when I was cleaning it a little while ago. So I'm not actually sure what temperature the barbecue's at, but that doesn't really matter. I have everything on high right now just to get up the temperature, and then I'm going to turn all my knobs down to about a medium heat, and that should keep it within the 350 degree range. And again, you don't want to go super high heat to cook these, because again, you want them to kind of all cook evenly at the same time. So as long as you set your barbecue to like kind of medium heat on all your burners, or just even a couple depending on how many skewers you have, you're still going to be good. So at this point, once your barbecue is up to temp, all you got to go ahead and do is lay out your skewers on there. You're going to hear that nice sizzle as they go on. Right. And then yeah, initially you want to lay them all out there like that. And again, you have the sticks here, you can get in there, you can turn them, or if they get really hot, use a pair of tongs. Yeah, pretty much at this point, guys, that's all you got to do. Put your skewers on there, let them cook, turn them every little once in a while so that they cook evenly. Again, make sure your meats are always properly cooked, and then enjoy them. So it's been a couple minutes now. I'm gonna go in and see if they're ready to flip. Now, one thing that is gonna, be kind of a golden rule for any kind of barbecuing: if your meat does not want to easily come off the grill or flip or whatever, do not touch it. Leave it alone. If your meat is still sticking to the grill, that means it's not fully cooked and ready to come, to be moved. Do not ever force it. Pretty much, if your meat can easily unstick from the grill and flip over, it's ready to cook. If it's not, let it sit there, let it go. Unless, of course, in some cases, maybe you get a flare up of fire and it's really, really burning. Leave your meat to go. So we can see now, if I try to move it, it doesn't move easily. It's still sticking. So I'm going to give it another couple of minutes before I do actually try and flip any of these. But yeah, remember that one golden rule. If your meat is still sticking to the grill, leave it there. Maybe it just needs a couple seconds, another minute or so. But yeah, don't ever flip your meat until it's ready to flip. Okay, so now you can see what I'm talking about. No, about a minute ago this wasn't ready to flip, but now you can see I lift it up, it easily comes off the grill. So I'm going to go ahead and give these all a flip now. Oop, that was not quite ready. Yeah, and sometimes, guys, it happens just that quickly. Again, you know, about, well, a minute ago for me, about 2 seconds ago for you guys, you know, the meat wasn't ready to flip. I left it there for about another minute, and now it's ready to flip, and it does so with great ease. So you can hopefully start to see some nice little grill marks on there. I apologize, the lighting's not the greatest, but yeah, you can see there's some grill marks starting to form there, which is what you want. Again, you want to just keep flipping it evenly, and, you know, pretty much, again, after about 10-15 minutes, you want to go in and check it. Maybe cut into a little piece, make sure it's not red on the inside. Or if you guys have a thermometer, actually the thermometer method will be the best method, guys. Get a little thermometer, stick it in there, make sure the internal temperature's somewhere right around the 160 degree Fahrenheit mark, and you know your meat's fully cooked, ready to go. Alright guys, so we've done our thermometer check, and the meat's basically where I want it to be. So at this point, all that's left to do is take everything off of the grill. Again, transfer it onto a plate or a tray or something to, you know, take it back inside or over to your table where you're going to be eating. And that's pretty much it. Now, you also want to make sure if any kind of little bits fall off, you want to take those off of your grill as well, if you can. Or, you know, let it fall through like that one just did. But yeah, it's not uncommon for little pieces of maybe meat or some veg to fall through. So if you can, take them up, eat them, enjoy them. Or if they fall through your grill, yeah, that happens too. So anyways, guys, you can see there's our finished product, and the only thing left to do now is go and enjoy them. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Once again, one other small thing to note, with any kind of beef, even with these guys, whenever you take it out from cooking, you always want to let it sit and rest for just a couple minutes before you actually eat it. You know, if there's any juices, it'll kind of soak it back up. Or, you know, again, if you're not quite at temperature, you let it sit for a couple minutes, it's going to get up to perfect temp. And also, too, if you eat it right away, it's going to be really piping hot. So let it rest for a little bit, let it cool off ever so slightly, you know, let it kind of finish out its cooking process, and then you're good to go. But yeah, that's how you make beef skewers, guys. If you, or again, any type of skewer, you know, whether it's chicken, whatever, follow these steps, and you're going to be well on your way to making great food. So, if you enjoyed this video, as always, guys, please give it a big thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.